Power Play starts with a huge crisis between the British and the Americans. It's set slightly in the future. There's been a terrorist attack on the United States, and the Americans, as they did in the past, want the British to help out. But this time the British Prime Minister is not so keen, and there's a huge row between them. And the British, to try and suck up to the Americans, invite the Vice President of the United States to come over to Britain and do a bit of shooting in the Scottish Highlands, and he goes missing. That's where we are, and that's where the fun begins. The starting point of Power Play was I wanted to find a character and put him under terrible pressure, a character that you really like. In this case, it was the British ambassador to the United States, and I wanted him to be a bridge between two countries, both of which he loves in different ways, and I wanted that bridge to start to fall down. I wanted him to be in a big dilemma, and a big dilemma in his personal life as well, because he falls in love with an American woman, which is the wrong woman for him to fall in love with. So I started with that. That was all I had, actually. The story, the plot, and a lot of the themes kind of emerged, and they're very much the themes of now in America and now in Britain. But I started absolutely with the character because I wanted to see what made this person tick. What fascinates me, absolutely fascinates me, is people in power and how we let them get away with doing some terrible things and some really stupid things. I mean, is it our fault? Are we stupid? What do we want out of these people? How come they're so rubbish? And what kind of pressures are they under? Because I've met so many of them, from Bill Clinton to Mrs. Thatcher to our current political leaders in Britain and America. And they all have their private lives, or their attempts at private life. They have their private problems as well as the public stuff. And when the two collide, what a mess they can sometimes get into. And that, I think, is absolutely fascinating. And it explains some of the mess that we're in in Britain and elsewhere. Why are we in such a mess? Why do we let our political leaders and the people in power lead us into such blind alleys? So that's what fascinates me, and that's what I wanted to write about. Power Play is a book for men and women. It's a book at its heart which is about a relationship, a love affair which causes terrible problems, and that is at the core of the book. It also happens to be a love affair between people who are in power or have powerful roles, and they're in the public eye, and it's like a love affair between two goldfish in a goldfish bowl. Everybody can see what's going on, and that absolutely fascinated me. So while it's true that a lot of the things associated with politics that absolutely is a dirty word, the people in power are important because they take decisions which affect you and me, and the things that they do, the things that they choose to do, the stupid things they do, are absolutely fascinating. I hope that when a reader finishes Power Play, they have a much bigger understanding of the kind of world that we live in, and also about the very human dilemma at the heart of the book that faces the central characters, the love affairs that go on, and the kinds of choices that the people have to make. They're running countries. These are very, very powerful people, or trying to run countries. And they're also trying to run their personal lives. And they're not making a very good job of either of them. And that's what I'd like people to take away, that the degree of common humanity among people who are in power. And what do we really want out of these people? Do we want them to be just like you and me? Or do we want them to be better than you and me? And we want both, don't we? And we're a bit hypocritical about that.